Kanek was only involved because of his license. They needed somebody with a license to practice in New York, so they used Kanek. He was not supposed to argue the case. So without him having any proper planning, he did a fucking good job because he called all them heifers and lies.
It starts coming out. We're going to investigate this. Just so you know, what their little thing they did for a couple days, trying to just rip Dana apart, it caused the feds to contact Dana, to contact me, to contact the state IOLTA fund, to look at the thing. It took about 10 seconds for them to see that there was nothing wrong. But you know what it did? It wasted 6 hours of my time. Forget that I bill at $400 an hour and it hurts me and my family. But that's time I could be spending helping innocent people not be or go to jail. All because why? They want to put Dana down? I mean, come on. If you want to put Dana down and he has a criminal record, hold up his criminal record. And make sure nobody else has one either when they hold it up.
Well, I have already done it, Doug. Dana gave me a false copyright strike.
So his price tag was $3 million, but then he said it may take another $2 million and investigate stuff. So be ready to spend $5 million. So that's when we knew that rock hard finite number that we had to secure was $5 million. That was it. We had to secure $5 at minimum. I don't give a fuck. Nothing else he covered. $5 million.
I don't need like to get it poppin', but these bitches in my business come me up to choosing violence. If you see me out in public, you don't know me, keep it silent. In the bedroom, I be screaming, but outside I keep it quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome to Prima Donna News, where we give unbiased commentary about trending topics, as well as expose the propaganda surrounding Robert Kelly. Make sure to hit the like button, share the content, and ensure all notifications are on all in order to get all notifications from our channel.
When I first began documenting my research, it became clear to me some motives behind some of the embellished stories the public was being spoon-fed. Many verified the fact that Robert Kelly's finances were at a disarray and had piling debts, including with the IRS. It was originally said that prior to the allegations of him having a so-called cult and holding imaginary hostages, Kelly was attempting to recover lost assets, including figuring out where his royalties and such were going. It is my opinion through my observations that Kelly had absolutely no idea the massive levels of janky business that began to engulf him being hidden behind orchestrated allegations from disgruntled individuals. It should also come as no surprise why I most definitely side-eyed those Olsen twins known as Jen and Lindsay Perryman, and the gang of individuals who began to emerge on Robert's behalf, who in my opinion only fueled more compiled and padded charges as we observed how they strategized in how to get away with the obvious overreach, charging Robert Kelly alone under the Organized Crime Act made for mob bosses when evidence is clearly circumstantial. Take a listen to one of the most overhyped clips from Robert Kelly himself, merged with his very accurate breakdown given in his song I Admit, released by his position NR. By the end of this video, it should be clear why those who parted ways from his so-called inner circle played their roles, as well as those claiming to be here to help him, considering many skip past the documented informant Larry telling us all from day one that he originally came out beefing with a so-called inner circle, as the media hyped up those who walked away being allegedly complicit but never being charged.
I don't even have a college education. I have dyslexia, bro. I don't even know how to read, spell, or write, or do math. Okay? But I'm sitting here worth $800 million, bro. But I'm sitting here worth $800 million, bro. But I'm sitting here worth $800 million, bro. I've written for everybody. I've done things for everybody. I'm 31 in the game. Through the storm, through the rain, through the sleet, through the tsunami of rumors and allegations and court cases. Okay, y'all proof, y'all witness to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if I did that and I'm still here, ain't no cops knocking on my door. Ain't nobody trying to investigate me, although they try to make it look like that. Okay, because that's what they do to us. Okay, that's what they do to us. And guess what we do when they do that to us?
We run.
We run with it. We believe it. But why am I here? Why am I still working on my album? Why am I still going from Florida to Atlanta to Chicago?
They took my gift and they blind me.
Where the fuck is my money? Now here come this big ass conspiracy. They took my gift and they blind me. Where the fuck is my money? Now here come this big ass conspiracy. But I'm sitting here worth $100 million, $800 million, bro.
You would think those who claimed to be friends of Robert Kelly would have been more vocal watching the miscarriage of justice play out. However, maybe they had their own reasonings in being complicit to corruption and misconduct being exposed about the shady music industry. One thing is for certain, I personally informed my audience many reasons as to why all the fundraising expected from fans was not only dumb but very delusional, considering all those surrounding him who could have privately helped him if that was needed, as they used his name for viral conversations. Even now, we are questioning what is going on with his current defense team. You can notice fans in Facebook fan groups now inquiring about more fundraising to acquire Brian Steele if he is interested, according to them. It never fails that rather than notice the ineffective counsel being sent to so-called help Robert, it becomes very obvious why I stand on why they are ineffective, while observing motivating factors for the circus surrounding this man. It was recently posted asking who would donate and send funds to Tyrese to obtain Steele for R. Kelly, so why not take this moment to remind those who turned against me with their hurt feelings why I stand on the fact it's not our role to try and hire nor fire attorneys for Robert. Though some found out the hard way, why I give reasonable doubt to why it is also my position that some around Robert equally helped to sacrifice the golden goose. I know one thing. It would be a cold day in hell before those who see the plays to continue being misled. It's also asinine to expect fans to do all this fundraising and helping while those who benefited from the man sit back and say nothing of value.
Now, it never fails that you're going to see a whole lot of suggestions and calls to action from these people that continuously have done what I've demonstrated on my platform for all this time. Because you'd be crazy as hell to follow along with some fans who always try to cook up a reason to try to hire new counsel for Robert Kelly and miss why a lot of people fell out with me because of my opinion of the things that they brought to me. Like, for example, when the silly gang came up to me talking about trying to get Alan Dershowitz, and I gave my honest opinion on how crazy that would look with all the implications surrounding him and this Epstein guy, it should click in as to people could dive into the conspiracies around the information that I gave. But at the end of the day, it's not going to take away from the factual information that made a whole lot of things being spun on these platforms look very suspect by these people who claim to have all the information to free R. Kelly, had all this power to enlist people to fundraise, to get this attorney, to get that attorney fired, to do all this extra stuff. But then when I come out here and give my perception, oh, it was always a problem. And when I demonstrate how people can feel how they feel about me all they want, but it's not going to change all of the meddling that I was putting on open display that I wasn't going to be a party to, regardless of who felt any type of way. I found it more beneficial documenting all of the moving pieces that we saw that a lot of people were being distracted from. So even when it came to the allegations waged against Tasha K and the BOP, and people wanted to push their own narratives and push their thoughts onto other people who didn't go along to get along with their fuckery. At the end of the day, it's ludicrous to sit here and try to point all the blame to the people who are in opposition to supporting Robert Kelly and miss the controlled opposition that I've put on open display, considering I very much demonstrated the fact that people can watch whomever they want to watch, take information from whomever they want to take information from. But when it came to these janky sources that were feeding information to people like Tasha K and these Team Lies so-called advocates and even these supporters, and then people want to keep straddling the fence of the hypocrisy that I've shown. Clearly, I believe that a lot of the things that I show affected Robert Kelly's due process and his trials. When it came to these accusers, I didn't feel they were credible. When it came to these storytellers, they were suspect as hell considering they wanted to play both sides just like some of these janky-ass supporters on these platforms. Yet at the end of the day, to have listened to all these people tell you that they had all the information to free R. Kelly, to all the people who went to the proceedings and didn't see half of this so-called information presented in court. And we saw all of the interfering between these fans and other individuals when it came to the defense team. Not just one member, not just two, but pretty much all of them. So when it came to even the janky private investigator congregating with some of these questionable people, it was no need to take offense to the fact that you can believe that Robert Kelly is aware of the shenanigans that played out that affected his case. You can put all the blame on Team Lies and Tasha K and the BOP. But you're going to have to excuse me if I think you're slow when I hear all of these fundraising attempts that have been going on these platforms even to this day with the suggestion of sending money to Tyrese to get Brian Steele for Robert Kelly now instead of asking the $1 million questions. Where the hell is Bo Brentley? That's who the hell need to be on their job, so what the hell do people need to be fundraising for? Somebody, make this shit make sense. So clearly the point in this video was to re-emphasize why I wasn't going to run with any go-along, get-along gangs, why it offended some to see some of the information they call themselves sending me being put on display, and then me giving my perspective of it all. Because at the end of the day, I have my right to give my opinions just like they do. And if they didn't like it, they didn't have to watch. They didn't have to send me nothing, and they didn't have to expose why I keep saying this whole case was janky as hell and all of these people are suspect as fuck. Now, clearly, even if Robert Kelly's finances and other resources were so limited as they portrayed to us, let's pretend like they had all that information they claim to have. Let's pretend like they had all the same reasonable doubt that I gave to my audience that they chose not to run with like they did for their shits and giggles. Let's pretend like we didn't see them out here defending those who were clearly doing things that was being held against Robert Kelly, and then coming out here giving all the motives that would show you why I documented the things that I did. Let's push play again.
Greenberg should have stepped out at that point and said, Rob, I can't fuck with this. I'll help you on the state level, the local case, but all that big shit, I ain't equipped for that. But because he wanted popularity and all that shit, he stayed on. And then he started working with Nicole and Doug, knowing that none of their asses got along. And we can tell that. I hate to say I told you so, but look at how it ended. They all imploded. Doug's stealing fucking money. Nicole is fucking running around and ain't got a fucking clue.
Surprise, surprise. When people like Don Russell can come out here and confirm some of the context clues that I put into a lot of my collages that went over people's heads that they confuse, considering you can't debunk the facts. Yet a lot of the confusion was allowed to seep in when people were given the impression that all these people that you saw and bear witness to were here to help free R. Kelly, but for some strange reason got so intertwined into the fuckery that they refused to acknowledge the things that I put on display, the things that I said. And instead of taking offense to me saying that this shit is janky as hell, it should give more insight as to why I feel like some of these celebrity influencers and other people who greatly benefited off of Robert Kelly should have been a whole lot more active into advocating for the miscarriage and justice instead of these people confusing my role on this YouTube platform. Clock it. The fact of the matter is, it shouldn't have taken somebody like me to stay on topic and show the people the discrepancies behind all of these stories, all of the things that people claim they remember, and look at these people who surrounded Robert Kelly and look at who's really complicit. Cause all I know is you got to be crazy as heck to think that I have to compare penis sizes just to demonstrate my point that I don't believe Robert Kelly was on that tape that everybody claimed was CP. I don't believe an actual marriage occurred with Aaliyah, and I don't believe all of these bad act witnesses that were allowed to manipulate the new victim survivor acts that were allowed to give these people the empowerment to run with all of these stories with circumstantial evidence and skip all of the moving pieces that I demonstrated would give more reasonable doubt. So just an FYI, my ego is far from the problem, considering all of my people know that I didn't even want to be relevant in my own content as I watched all of these people call themselves trying to expose me. Cause the gag is, clearly, that is the reason why I openly documented all the things that were going on, things that were being sent to me, information I wouldn't have had if they wouldn't have volunteered it, and the simple fact that I wasn't going to involve myself in the fuckery. So with that being said, you can listen to these people continue to make their calls of actions, or you can start holding people accountable, including the so-called defense team, for their lack of a defense that we witnessed.
Let's come for this cookie. Nom nom nom. Oh, nom 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 nom. Ha. Bye-bye.
Like bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand.